Another cycle high for Bitcoin. But something is off. Something doesn't make sense right here. Something is either different or we are getting fooled right here. So I want to take a look at that. And also altcoins, what's happening? Like not much is happening with the altcoin space, but does it mean that we can now actually analyze like, hey, this is an easy play. These altcoins are next. And I would also like to go over some questions of the audience, some responses that I got on the channel. I'd like to do that at the end of every video. So like the video if you already like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on, check out the Patreon down below, and let's get right into it. So Bitcoin just hit a new high. It just doesn't stop running. And it peaked out at $51,688. So again, a new high. But let's take a look at this chart right here, because this chart is saying like, hey, that is actually kind of weird. That's like what we don't usually see. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take this on the monthly chart, right? So this is Bitcoin on a month. These vertical lines are Bitcoin. Now, these vertical lines are the Bitcoin halving, which is coming up in like 2 months. And yeah, we're going to see how that is going to play out. I think that the halving is going to be fucking interesting. But first, like I showed you before, if you take your beautiful Fibonacci tool and you use it to calculate the bottom to the top, what do you see right here? We run up all the way to the 618. We got rejected right there. And we had a, what was it? A downwards move of, let's say, almost 40%. In the last cycle, you can use the same Fibonacci tool. And if you take it from the top to the bottom, what do you notice? We get to the 618. We got rejected right there. And we got a downwards move of, if we do not include the COVID wick, 53%. And now, if we use the same Fibonacci tool and we take it from the top to the bottom, what do you notice right here? Same point, the 618 is where it's coming in right now. However, it looks like if we put it on the, let's say the daily, it is breaking above the 618. Does this mean that usually that the correction that we always get at this point is not going to happen right now and that Bitcoin is just gonna blast through it? Or does it mean we already had the correction, but instead of 40 or 50%, it's just 22 like this time? Could it be that that's diminishing and because of the ETF or whatever for reason you want to give to it? Or does it mean that this is just a fake out and that we are still getting the correction? Well, I can already tell you I don't have that answer and nobody has, right? Because that's what's about to happen in the future and nobody from here is from the future, of course. What we do see in the last cycle is, of course, as well, we broke a little bit above it, right? The 618 came in at 13,450 and we peaked all the way at 13,800, give or take. So I know it's not a huge difference. It's like 2% higher. If we look what we're doing right now, from the 618 until where we are right now, it's also like 2% higher. So it could play out like last cycle, right? Where we went above it, got a rejection, and then finally had our last buying opportunity before we really started the bull market. It is a possibility. So I am not shooting this part of the video to say like, hey guys, this is gonna happen or this is gonna happen. I'm shooting this video like, hey guys, this is what happened before, this is what's happening right now, right? And whatever you want to say that it actually is going to be in the future, hey, we can all give our best guess, and that's kind of what it is, right? But like I said, what up with altcoins? What up with altcoins? I mean, yeah, the altcoin market, it is going up a little bit as well, but it is still a fact that if you look at the altcoin market, we haven't taken out this January high, right? The high in the first week of January, we're not there yet. If we do take a look at Bitcoin, this was the high. So Bitcoin is already making new highs right here. But the altcoin market is like always lagging and running behind because of the Bitcoin dominance. It is going up, right? So the money that now comes into crypto is mostly going into Bitcoin and not into altcoins. Therefore, we do not see altcoins outperform Bitcoin yet, right? We do not see an alt season yet, or we do not see a mini alt season or whatever you want to call it. Nothing like that. We don't see that yet. It's purely, if you are in Bitcoin, you're making the safer gains, but you also make most gains. If you compare it to the collective altcoin market, right? There are always altcoins that do better than Bitcoin, but overall there are also a lot of altcoins that do worse than Bitcoin. And this is the average. And yeah, this is going up. Bitcoin is dominating right now. But what we often see is that Bitcoin runs, the Bitcoin dominance runs with it, and then the Bitcoin dominance goes down a little bit. And that's not necessarily that Bitcoin goes down very hard as well, but that's whenever we see altcoins really catching up. We can overlay the dominance on here. Maybe we can find a little example, right? For example, this right here, Bitcoin, it shot up. The orange line is the dominance, right? Shot up with it. And then when Bitcoin was basically going sideways for pretty long, actually, dominance went down, right? And this is not much, I know, right? But it is where altcoins are catching up a little bit. Here as well, like, hey, Bitcoin was sitting at like 26K right here. The dominance was sitting at, 51%. But here, Bitcoin also was sitting at 26K, but the dominance was sitting at 49%. So Bitcoin, yeah, in the meantime, it went up, but it ended at the same point as where it started, but the dominance went lower in that period. This is where altcoins were catching up, right? And I feel like, hey, this is where we might see the same right now. And the reason that altcoins are now lagging is mostly because of this, right? Like if we look where Bitcoin is sitting right now, 51K. The dominance is sitting at 54%. But the dominance was also sitting at 54% when Bitcoin was 32K. Crazy, right? So in the meantime, Bitcoin went up, but the dominance didn't do anything, right? In order for us to see altcoins performing really well, really well, we want this thing to go down and Bitcoin to, well, at least not go down, right? Rather even go up. That's a crazy alt season if we see that. And we see that every cycle. That big alt season, I expect that to happen, like I said earlier, at the end of the year. But in the meantime, we can have, decent altcoin runs. Could definitely happen. Right, so what to look for, actually? Because, yeah, we can take a look at the overall altcoin market. And my fair conclusion is, again, Bitcoin broke out. The altcoin market didn't. The altcoin market is still in this range right here, right? This the downside of the range, this top side of the range. And we're now sitting at the top side of the range. But it's nothing like a breakout or anything yet. Like, we really have to have a good push in the altcoin market of around, like, let's say 15, rather 20% to really see altcoins go nuts after that. We are still kind of far from that, though. So that's not what we're seeing. What we want to look at is, again, this. Have your altcoin watch list, right? Let's say Chainlink. Have your Chainlink right here, right? But if you look at Chainlink, you can only look at the dollar pair and be like, wow, Chainlink broken out, right? But nah, Chainlink only went up because Bitcoin went up. Chainlink didn't went up because Chainlink went up, right? This is Chainlink on its Bitcoin pair. So that didn't do much. It's still ranging. Now, what I think is important, what you want to look for, are altcoins that are outperforming Bitcoin at least, right? You do not want to get in altcoins that are underperforming Bitcoin right now. Like, if these altcoins don't show strength right now, then why would you be in them? And you can just better be in Bitcoin. It's safer than any other altcoin out there by far. Plus the returns are bigger. So what are you doing, right? So you want to look at an altcoin that is outperforming Bitcoin, or at least strong against Bitcoin, holding up against Bitcoin. But also something that's still in an accumulation area, right? And like Chainlink, for example, especially if you look at it like this, it's more the top side of the range right now, but still it is sitting in that range, right? And that shows like, hey, it's above its bull market support band. It did not make a lower high, at least more of a sort of a triple top right here. But it's starting to make higher highs again. Chainlink is showing some kind of strength right here, at least. That's, in my opinion, what you want to look for. Altcoins you don't want to look for are these altcoins that keep on bleeding against Bitcoin. Like, for example, this is Quant. But if you look at this chart, Quant just made a lower low like this week. Won't surprise me if it's today, by the way. Yeah, it just made a lower low today, right? So until the day of today, yeah, there's no reason to buy Quant, right? It was bleeding against Bitcoin like completely hard. So why would you buy this? Then you're better off just being in Bitcoin, right? There are a lot of altcoins that look like this. Even if you buy it with dollars, look at their Bitcoin pair, because this chart is showing you like, yeah, okay, why, you know, and like eventually it will bounce, right? And then the pitchforks come out like, ah, you said don't buy it. But I said don't buy it like this whole time. And look how much money you save by not buying this the whole time, right? Just being in Bitcoin, you go up with your money. But if you buy this, yeah, you're losing your Satoshi value, right? And eventually that means losing dollars as well, or missing out on dollars. So what you want to look for, again, altcoins that are strong against Bitcoin. And it doesn't mean you have to buy them today. Like IMX, for example, hey, in this range, but it just broke out here, right? It makes a higher high. We have a low, we have a high, we have a higher high, we have a higher high. This is strong against Bitcoin, right? So this is something you might want to buy. Do you want to buy it right now, though? That's like you're buying the top, and if you're buying it for a long-term play, then it's fine, and if you can stomach some losses in the meantime. But that's how I'm looking at it. Ronin, same case. Ronin was so strong against Bitcoin. Cool, let it retest a little bit and then go up even further. So the altcoins that I think, like the title of the video says, the altcoins that are next are the altcoins showing strength, right? You can take gambles though, like with Matic as well, right? Matic is super weak against Bitcoin, but you can look at it like, hey, glass half full, right? I mean, is this yeah, it's half full. You can look at it like more positively, right? Like, hey, every time it went down in this range, it turned out to be a good buy. So why wouldn't it be right now? Right, but this is at least ranging. This is looking different, right? You can see the difference between a chart like this and a chart like this, right? Down, right? A free fall as well, right? So there's the difference. Illuvium, if we look at Illuvium, for example, with a high, with a lower high, we're making lower lows right here, but it's now kind of showing higher lows, right? So Illuvium had a low right here. It had a higher, yeah, except if you count the wick. If you don't count the wick, it was slightly higher low, but we have a higher low right here. Now struggling with the bull market support band right there, but hey, interesting. AVAX, super strong against Bitcoin, right? Super strong against Bitcoin. And the thing is that therefore I said on this channel many times, like, hey, it's maybe better to just buy Bitcoin. And I've been very skeptical about altcoins because in a bear market, Bitcoin doesn't die, but altcoins do. And you do not know which ones are going to die. That's kind of the problem, right? If you buy Bitcoin, well, like we said before, like we showed before, like, hey, Bitcoin went up 3x, altcoins went up collectively 3x. So the returns are not different. But Bitcoin is lower risk, right? Therefore, Bitcoin was a way better buy in the last year, basically, than altcoins, right? And if you now, for example, look at AVAX on its dollar pair, you'll be like, oh, I want to buy AVAX, but it's already up 5x, right? Almost 400%, which is 5x. If you look at AVAX on its Bitcoin pair, it is up 2.5x, right? It's twice the difference. So instead of buying something 400% from the bottom already, you can buy something 160% from the bottom. Yeah, like that's really not bad, right? Like for example, here in this market, 160% was here, right? Slightly under this yellow line. So if you would have bought AVAX right here and you had this whole way to go, you still make a 10x on it, on its Bitcoin pair. And Bitcoin went up in this time as well. Can you imagine what it did on the dollar pair? So overall, I think that this whole list right here is quite solid. But my highest convictions in this market are Beam, for example, to just call something very quickly. Focal Forge, still have a lot of faith in Focal Forge as well. I mean, this was beautiful, right? Ranging right here, and now it's stepping up one range. So that looks quite good, really. And if we, for example, take a look at Ronin, yeah, that's something that I absolutely love. I think Chainlink, S-Fund, Super, they are already running, yeah. But it doesn't matter if you feel like, hey, yeah, you know, I missed out on a 14, 15x on this one. Fuck it. There are so many altcoins that are going to provide you with the same returns or even more. And you're going to have great entries. Don't look at the dollar charts too much. You're going to get FOMO, man. Look at the Bitcoin pairs as well, right? If you have bought Bitcoin. If you don't have Bitcoin, feel the fucking FOMO, man. No, you still like, it's good. I have a good cash back on the sideline and I love it, right? I'm happy I didn't buy this here or so, because I have that money saved for pre-sales, right? And these pre-sales are gonna get me way more money than buying some coins on the open market, actually. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. So the altcoin market, it's doing well, but it's like not breaking out yet. At least Bitcoin did. We'll see how it goes. $52,000 give or take is a big area of resistance. So let's see how we handle that. And what we really want is the dominance to go down. However, be a little careful with this, because if I do look at the dominance, if we zoom in on this a little bit and we draw the line correctly, actually, then what do you see? Look at it like this. Dominance has broken out of this trend right here, right? So the dominance is showing strength. So it could mean like, hey guys, forget about altcoins for a while. It's Bitcoin season again, right? Just a thought. So let's dive into a couple of comments, and I would like to do that in every video actually at the end of it. Yeah, so I thought that this was an interesting one, because I said in one of the last videos I had Solana. I took my profits on Solana way too early. If we look at Solana, where is that piece of moon coin? Solana is absolutely fucking crazy, man. Yeah, so I had Solana. I bought it quite low, but I took my profits mostly at around $40, right? And after that, it was going to 120, and people be like, you missed out. Yes and no, because this person asked as well, what did you buy after selling Solana that kept up with the pump? And my answer is mostly Beam, Super, Ronin, a couple of low caps. If you are in the Patreon, there's a link down below. I'm gonna share my moonshot portfolio there all the time, and I share the profits that I'm taking with it, etc. So that's a free portfolio by now. And a bunch of pre-sales, and they all outperformed Sol. So I missed out on another 3x pump from Sol, but made some nice 5 up till 10x's with that money on other coins, right? And if you look at it like that, it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm getting my money, it doesn't matter for me if I'm getting my money out of Solana or out of Focal Forge, or what, as long as we're making money, right? So take your profits. But if you're bullish on the market, just put it into something else, right? If you are sitting on a 10x on Solana for some reason, you did very well, by the way. But don't be like, it's going to 500, let's keep it. Because the risk reward is getting more and more bad for you right now, right? If you feel like, yeah, Solana could go to $500, I'm not the one that says it can't. But if it goes to $500, that's a 4.5x from here, right? And although another 4.5x is nice, there are a lot of coins also in this list that will provide at least a 4.5x, but haven't had this parabolic run yet. And usually a parabolic run also comes with a harder correction. So reshuffle your money, relocate your money, restructure your portfolio. Don't get too attached to one coin. But I also said in the Patreon, like, you don't have to take all your profits at once, right? Superverse, for example, I bought this at 9 cents. I almost bought my complete bag at 9 cents. I sold at 40. I sold at 56, I think, and I sold at 74. Kinda, yeah. So I made huge profits on this one, but I did it step by step. If I sold everything at 40, then this whole move up was going to be painful. And I still have some of this coin. Even after it already did a 15.5x. So the chart is kind of telling like, guys, this is way too parabolic. Be a little careful now, okay? This is getting really, really, really overheated. But I made so much money on this coin that even if it goes below zero, I'd still be in profits, right? And that's kind of how you want to handle it if you are in crypto. Like, yeah, I get some people, they just want to buy and look back in the bull market, but still, if you look at something like this, you should consider like, okay, maybe we should take a little profits right here because you can get so much more out of this market. Waiting for new projects. I'm gonna drop a video soon with a couple of new projects that I'm looking at, that I'm interested in, because I allocated a lot of money in seed sales, in private sales, in pre-sales, in coins that are yet to come out, which I think are going to be fantastic. And there's a lot of money to be made with that, so let's talk about that. This is a typical response that I do feel like, man, I don't want to talk too much about this because this is what I explained in every video already. But for the people who missed it, somebody said, this guy, he doesn't, or he said he doesn't buy altcoins because it's going much lower and now it's your last chance, and I unsubscribed. So I just replied with, yo, you didn't fully listen and now you missed out. That's on you. But his response is, I was going to buy AVAX at $8 and you said didn't, and you said didn't make sense to buy AVAX. It's going much lower, blah, blah, blah. I missed out. That's why I unsubscribed. So this is a little ridiculous. One, if I am I'm not telling where something is going. I'm saying like, hey, this is what the charts are saying, and there's a good chance this or this happens, right? So that's one. Two, you press your own buy and sell buttons. Be a grown up, man. Really, I can't stress that enough. Three as well. Come on, come on. If you look at AVAX, it came all the way from 150 to $8.50. I said like, hey, there is a good chance that if Bitcoin does this and the dominance does this, it could go here, right? Well, that didn't happen, so this didn't happen as well. But $4, $8 compared to the 150 where it came from, close enough for me. Don't expect someone or even yourself to look at a chart and be like, let's throw a number on it. And that has to be the exact number, right? That's not what crypto is about. Crypto is not about being right, but about being right enough, right? Plus, you cannot be a week in crypto and make make no wrong calls. Like, of course, dude. But what I also said in like complete last year is my strategy was basically don't buy altcoins too much. Right? I said most of my money is not in altcoins, some is, but don't buy altcoins too much. Buy Bitcoin and later buy altcoins with that Bitcoin, right? So again, like you can look at the altcoin market and be like, well, if you take it from the bottom until where we are right now, it did a 3x, right? And you missed out. I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, it did also a 3x, so you haven't missed out, right? And again, there are altcoins that are overperforming. Yeah, there are also altcoins that are underperforming, right? Then you still have to risk and guess which ones are going to be best, right? And my strategy was mainly built to not lose money, but also to have the dry powder to buy these altcoins, right? And to not miss out if the market goes up. And now that the market is a lot safer, it has shown us like, hey, you know, a lot of altcoins here, altcoins were sitting at the same level as here, right? So does it matter if you bought June 2022 or October 2023? Because the price was the same, so there should be no difference, right? Yeah, there's a difference. Because a lot of altcoins that were around right here are not around right here, right? So they said, like, the closer we are to the bull market and to the halving, etc., the more safe it is to buy, right? If you're going for the absolute bottom, that's fine, but you're risking a lot of money as well. And it was never my goal on this channel to take a lot of risk, right? I rather make a steady 10, 15x without risking too much money than going for a 50x, but we really have to risk our money. Right? Like there are a lot of YouTube channels out there that were bullish this complete time, and all these people on Twitter, like every dip they be like buy it, and when it went up a little bit, it was like alt season, and they give signals. No, look at altcoins, and in the meantime, it went all the way down, 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 and now they be like, yeah, look at me, I'm right, and everybody loves these guys because they are bullish, and but sometimes the market isn't bullish, right? So you should not be as well. And yeah, that's for me, that's very important. Like I like to make money, but I need money to make money, right? So in the first instance, we do not have to lose it. And in the meantime, I talked a lot about launch pads, right? I talked about Seedify, for example. Like, hey guys, I'm fully into Seedify and I'm making 10x's on these launches right there. And look what the Seedify token itself did. It did a 9x, right? So if you were really following me on the not buying altcoins, then you were only following me on the not buying altcoins, but not on the, hey, let's get into launchpads, or let's do buy Bitcoin, or let's buy a little altcoins here and there. Like, then you're only selectively listening. And if it doesn't work out for you, yeah, then yeah, I don't know what to say, man. Can you do an updated video on Portal? Did you manage to buy the pre-sale? It sold out fast. I will make an updated video about Portal when I think it's time to make an updated video about Portal. I didn't get into the pre-sale on purpose, but that's because we went into the seed round with my project, Web3 Whales. We invested 30K into Portal in an earlier round than the pre-sale. So I definitely, together with you, hope that it will do very well, actually. Yeah, same discussion right here. You were overly bearish all of 2023. That's not true. I've been buying Bitcoin. Said that many times. Invested $1,000 per week in Bitcoin. And when it came to altcoins, I was cautious. And again, that's good because, hey, another chart which I would like to show you is, for example, if you take a look at the collective altcoin market on its Bitcoin pair, it's pretty much at the bottom, right? So if you have been buying Bitcoin, you can now buy altcoins at the bottom anyway. Although on the dollar pair, they are far up, but it doesn't matter because you are also up that much on your Bitcoin, right? So that's the best way to be able to buy altcoins and have something in case the market goes up. Yeah, it worked out really well. But I still sometimes feel like, how can, like, some people just don't want to understand this strategy. But it's the most easy strategy and a super rewarding strategy as well. So I hope I hope I can make myself a little bit clear about that strategy right there, because I 8x'd my portfolio in the bear market. Like, I hope a lot of people did that as well. So hey, now let's get into a bull market. I'm not complaining. I never missed out on anything. I'm making some good money right here with some good investments, and I want this community to do absolutely the same. And I'm happy that we did. And for the people that felt like, yeah, I'm only gonna listen to this part and the rest not, and then I'm gonna blame someone on the internet if it doesn't work out, yeah, sorry, but if that's your mentality, then maybe you do not really deserve it yet. Okay, that's just not how it works, actually. Last one. Somebody asked, do you think we will revisit 25 or 38K on BTC? I said 30, 35 would not surprise me. Again, if it doesn't happen, you can come at me after months. You said it was going there. That's not really what I'm saying. I'm saying it wouldn't surprise me, right? I know it sucks, super boring. A YouTuber that admits that he cannot predict shit, right? You rather want to see somebody saying, it is going there, it is going there. And if it goes there, then he looks very smart. But there's a good chance it doesn't, all right? Now, 30, 35 wouldn't surprise me, right? Why wouldn't it not surprise me? Because again, that's how the cycle plays out. Got a rejection right there. 40%, right, dump, 50% dump. If we get a rejection right here, let's say we just get a 30% dump from that point, so pretty bullish actually, then it's 35k. If we get a regular 40% dump, then it's 29k. If we get another 50% dump, then it's going to be 25k. If we get the same as COVID, which I don't expect, but hey, black swans can happen, and we get a 70% dump, then we're going to 14k, right? I'm not, again, saying this will happen, but every price target that I just mentioned happened before. So you should always consider that it is not impossible. If it was impossible, like, it's not that it happened once. It's not that it happened twice. It happened every cycle. Okay, and it's, I know, really, really, really easy to be fucking bullish right now. And everybody that's slightly bearish right now, or bearish, that's slightly like, hey guys, corrections exist, they be like, fuck you, man. You, how dare you? It's up only from now. Like, okay, if you say so, it has never been. Maybe you're right this time. Maybe. But charts are saying like, no, right? So when I'm saying like a 30, 35, wouldn't, like, if we go back to like 25, also would not surprise me, but that's something that I feel like, ooh, this is fucked up, right? If we just go to like 30, 31, let's say, I'll be like, nothing wrong here actually, right? Because if we go there, what's that? If we do, then, and the chart looks like this, I don't know, or right? What's that? Low, higher low, higher low. Right? It would still be a higher low also. So even the chart structure won't be bearish until we are like, well, below 25k. Then it's going to be like bearish. Anything above 25k is still bullish. Although it's 50% down from here. Big pullbacks happen in a bull market, and it's just really fucked up and hard to hear if you are in a bullish position. Then you feel like, why are you telling this? This is not gonna happen because I don't want to. Yeah, okay, but the market doesn't necessarily do what you want. The market does what the market does. So no, it wouldn't surprise me, based on just history and charts and statistics and averages, right? And then again, we can take a look at the news like, yeah, but now we have an ETF. Yeah, I know. And that could be a good reason. But then again, like in this last bull market, what was the reason it went up here? We also had a lot of good news. That's why it's turning into a bull market, right? It's always the case. And still we went down. We had good news right here. What do you think we 4x'd, right? What we did right here, actually, for some still, and again, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to convince anybody that we are going down. I'm trying to convince everybody that you should consider that it is possible, normal, and if we don't go down, it would actually be exceptional, right? So just keep in mind that it's possible. What we did right here from the bottom until this run, we did a 350% gain. That would mean the same that if we now go to $70,000 and still from that point we crashed, right? And again, yeah, this was COVID, but this wasn't COVID and it still was 53%, right? So that could mean that, like, again, I'm not predicting, but that is the same as going from 70k all the way back down to 33k. If that happens, then it's actually the same as this cycle over here. But it doesn't matter because that's a good buying opportunity, and at the end of the day, we still end up in the bull market, right? My long-term play and conviction for this market is fucking bullish, right? I think I'm one of the few YouTubers that actually says that Bitcoin can go above 200k. Most people are saying 80k, 100k. Now that's bearish to me. Like, I'm more shorter term cautious, right? And long term bullish. That's what I am. I'm not bearish anymore. Here I was bearish. Here I'm super skeptical, and here I'm cautious. And after the cycle, I'm fucking bullish, right? Or after the halving, right? Because I just like to work with history, actually. After this halving, we went up. After this halving, we went up. After this halving, we went up. So there's a good chance also that after this halving, we go up. But that's the thing how people look at it. People, they look at the market and they are a little hypocritical sometimes, if I can call it like that, because they are always saying like, yeah, we have the halving, and after the halving, we go up. Oh, okay, so you believe in the cycle. But if you believe in the cycle, then you should also believe in the good correction that we usually have once we get to this point right here, and this point right here, and now this point right here, right? But that's what they don't believe. So sometimes people are a little biased when it comes to that, like, hey, they want that to happen, so they're going to believe that it's going to happen. Position yourself so that you will sleep well at night, no matter what direction the market goes, right? And that's what I said many times before, like, yeah, I have stables, so if the market goes down, I'm cool. If the market goes up, I have crypto, so it's cool. If the market goes sideways, I'm farming, I'm staking, I'm getting my, I have my nodes running, I'm getting my pre-sale money, so I have passive income, also cool, right? So no matter what the market does, I am fine with it, and that's what you want, right? And I am afraid that the market is now doing a typical market thing, right? When the market goes up and everybody is positioned for the market to go up, right? I made a poll as well, like, hey, how much percent of your crypto is in stables? And a lot of people said 0. So I felt like, ugh. So if we do go down, a lot of people get wrecked, right? They get fucked. They like, and you might feel like, yeah, doesn't matter because we will go up again. Yeah, but a lot of people will sell here. That's just how it works. They will get scared, right? If we just, everybody will say, oh, we never go below 45K again. And if we then go to 40, people be like, oh, fuck. And if we go to 36, then it's like, oh, fuck, this is over. Like, sell. And then it goes up again and they miss out. So, like, yeah, and people are buying here, right? Why do you think the price of Bitcoin from 51,341 is now 343 or 7, right? Because people buy at this price. Yeah, hey, yeah, you know, I mean, you do you, right? Like, I cannot really look at a chart like this and be like, yeah, let's buy the top. We only had from this point, like December 2021, we had like 2.5 years of better buying opportunities, but fuck that, let's buy it now. Right? Like, I don't know, man. Careful with that, to be honest. So be prepared for everything. Be happy no matter what the market does, because the market is not gonna do what you want anyway. The market loves to fucking wreck people, right? To make them happy first and make them believe that it's a type of bull market and we can go way higher than this first. And then when nobody expects it, we can do right? Just be prepared for that. Also, if we do take a look at the market in 2017, for example, that bull market, if you were there, it was fucked up, okay? This was the most stressful bull market that I ever witnessed. I saw my coins going up like crazy, and the next day they went down like crazy. And if you are a little emotional over it, you're gonna fucking wreck yourself. Right, the market, hey, it was a bull market, but what have we seen? We have seen corrections right here. 30% down. We have seen a correction here. 38% down. Here a correction. 37% down. A couple of weeks later, another correction. 32% down. We have a couple of months later, another correction. 39% down, right? We have them all the time. Like every once in so many weeks, months, we regularly go down like 40%, right? That happens multiple times. While people now feel like we won't go down 40%, that will take us all the way back to 30K, right? It happened like 6 times this bull market. And it can't happen once this time. Like maybe it doesn't, but it's not impossible. Come on. The charts are saying like, hey dude, like, come on. It's right there. It's right there for you to look at this. Be prepared. It could happen, right? So, again, it sounds like a bearish video. It's absolutely not. Because if the market goes down, I'm stacking up. I'm stacking up big time because Bitcoin is going to do fantastic. And there are some quality altcoins out there that are going to do fantastic as well. If you look at a Beam, a Ronin, an AVAX, an IMX, a CDFI, a projects that didn't come out yet, right? Like, oh man, we're really gonna make it hard. For now, enjoy the gains. Enjoy the gains for sure. Be prepared for every possible scenario. We're sitting at big resistance right now. We can, you know, push it through to 52 maybe. Hey, and maybe the market does something that I totally don't expect, right? And we just blast through all the resistances and just go to like, I don't know, man, 60K. Like, I don't want to predict short-term stuff, right? Like really, because the market is wild at the moment. So guys, I'm gonna wrap it up right here. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the bell notification on. Don't forget to check out the Patreon down below. You get a lot of valuable information from that, and I'll see you tomorrow.